So let's look at the new equilibrium. Let's say this is the original demand. And so in this case, the demand shift out and the supply also shift out. So that's demand 1, that's demand 2. And supply curve shift out as well. So that's supply 2, that's supply 1. This is the new equilibrium, right? Equilibrium. So it's shift from here to here, and supply shift that way. And so if you compare the two equilibrium, you can see that the second equilibrium is horizontally higher than the old equilibrium. That means quantity 2 is greater than quantity 1.
But price is lower.
Well, so the quantity will go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will know that for sure. But the price, it depends on, the change in price depends on how much the supply and demand curve shift. If the demand shifts a little bit more that way, it will make the price higher than the old one. This is the old one, so this is price 1, this is price 2. Right? But if the demand just shift a little bit, so it shift from here to down here, then the price would decrease. And so it depends on the demand. Well, it depends on both the supply and demand, how they shift. But you know that the quantity will go up for sure. And the price depends on how much the curves shift, how much the supply and demand shift. And so it's indeterminate. Yep. Does that make sense?
Kind
So basically, you can know for sure that your quantity demand will go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is.
But because the
Because
price
of
is
that.
pretty much the same, it's indeterminate.
It's not pretty much the same. It depends on how the curve shift. So if that is not how the demand curve shift, if the demand curve shift up there, like it shift more than the supply, then this will be the new price, and it will be higher than the old one.
But because they move together, the price stays the same.
Well, you don't have any information about that, so you can't know for sure,
Oh, okay.
right? And so if the demand curve just shift a little bit, tiny little bit right there, and the price right there, and the old price right there, and in this case, if it just shift a little bit, then the price would actually decrease, and if it shift a lot, then the price will increase. But the supply is also one of the factors. If the supply shift, let's say that's how the demand shift. Let's say this is D2, which is the demand curve after its shift. This is D1. right? That's D2. Let's say the supply curve always shift a little bit, then the price will be higher than the old one. But if it shifts a lot, like from there to there, then the new price will be lower than the old one. So it really depends on how the curve shifts. And if you don't have information about that, it's indeterminate.
Okay, that makes sense.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. The quantity for that will be indeterminate. Well, that quantity will be indeterminate.
Okay.
Do you know why? So, same thing. In order to figure it out, you have to graph it. Right? If the supply will increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
And demand decreases. So this is the new supply. And demand goes down. And so this is the new equilibrium, right? And this is the old equilibrium. So it's P1. Right? You know that the price will decrease. Okay? But the quantity depends on how much the curve shift. Right? If the supply curve just shift a little bit over here, so from here to there, right? Then this will be the new equilibrium, and this will be the quantity right there. It's going to be quantity 2, and that will be quantity 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, quantity actually decreases. But if the supply curve shift right over there, like all the way over there, and this will be the new equilibrium, and that will be Q2, and that is greater than Q1. So in that case, quantity increases. So it depends on how the curve shift, and it's indeterminate because you don't have any information about that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's actually, so the quantity is actually indeterminate.
Yeah.
Because, so where's your graph? That one? So supply will decrease, right?
Mm-hmm.
And demand will increase. And so, is that your old demand right there? Your first demand curve. So that's demand and supply one, right? So that's equilibrium. Yep. So you know that the price will go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the demand shift more over there, then the quantity will go up. right?
Oh, yeah, I see.
But if it just sip a little bit like there and go down. So basically, sometimes you have to, well, most of the time you have to graph it out, and if you can find the situation when it can, if you can find the situation when it increase, and you can also find the situation when it decrease, and it's indeterminate.